What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Pete. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse 2 on the Nintendo Switch. This game came out on Friday the 22nd of September, which means I've had it for just over a week, and that's given me some time to sink my teeth into it and mull over what I think of the game. We're going to jump into my character in my game, and I'll show you around. So when you start out the game, you get to choose from a number of races. That includes things like Saiyans, the Frieza race, Namekians, humans, the Majin Buu race, and there might be another one, but I can't remember. Anyway, I went with Saiyan because I wanted the opportunity to go Super Saiyan at some point later on in the game, which, if you're a fan of the show, that's probably what you're going to do on your first playthrough. I mean, you might not. Definitely what I was going to do. This is the city in which the game takes place, and it's the hub area for the rest of the game. So any quests or training things or stuff like that you want to do, you start from this area and then find them. At the very start of the game, when you start playing, traversing and moving around this area is a bit of a pain because the only thing you've got is your two little feetsies or one of these, a vehicle, and they control like a potato on ice. But once you get a bit further in the story, you get the opportunity to get your flying license. So you can fly from the get-go, but you can't fly in the hub area until you get your flying license. It helps you get to other areas in the hub city much, much faster and with a lot less crashing. So there are a number of things that you might be interested in the hub area, such as shops to buy new clothing items, new battle items to use in, well, battles, skill items, and then there's other things like trainers, and you can assign yourself a trainer, but you can still use all the rest of them anyway, so it doesn't really matter. It's pretty much all about leveling up and getting stronger, and then going through the story quest, which is what you'd want to do, because if you're a fan of Dragon Ball, then you know the story pretty well, but you like playing through it, because it's kind of awesome. The way the story works in Xenoverse 2 is that you play through all of the iconic story sections and missions from the TV series, but not as they happen, or kind of not as they happen. You're in current time, and they all happened in the past, but someone else is going through and wreaking havoc and changing things so that the future won't turn out the way that it has, and it's causing rifts and problems and cracks in time and all that sort of stuff. So what you have to do is go back to each of these iconic individual events and repair them. So you need to fight and level the odds so that everything happens the way it should have done and the way that you remember it. Which is kind of a cool way to look at it, because it means it lets you play through the iconic sections from the Dragon Ball Z series without having to actually play through them as if you hadn't seen it before. And that's fun. I like that. And it's certainly a good way to get people interested in playing the game. But after all, this is a fighting game. So how is the fighting, and how does it compare to the Budokai games of the past? Let's have a look. So with the fighting in this game, whilst there are a whole heap of skills and abilities that you can unlock, really it feels mostly that it's about your character and having a cool looking character that's individual to you that you can put in the fights with these iconic characters from the series, and not really about the combat itself. Whilst it is serviceable, to me at least, it feels only serviceable. You can get through almost the entirety of the game, if not the entirety of the game, just by pressing the Y button over and over again. And that might seem silly, but it is true. If you mash the Y button, you'll hit them away, you'll follow after them, you'll hit them again, and you'll keep following after them. And whilst that does get tricky to just keep mashing and do that on some of the harder fights, so far, I mean, I've played pretty much all of it, I've only really had to do that. You can do other things. There are, grabs and counters and things like that, but you don't need them. And trying to use them makes the game harder rather than more fun. So the combat feels like a bit of a miss or a step in the wrong direction. But for what the game is aiming for, whilst it is a fighting game, I think if you like Dragon Ball Z, you know it isn't really a fighting game. It's more of a fan service. It's more of a game that you give to someone that loves the series, that now gets to make their own character and put that character in a relevant story to the series, and the fighting is just there so you can punch people and then turn Super Saiyan and punch people some more. And for that, it does exactly what it needs to do. Whilst it might not be quite as good in my opinion as the old Budokai games, it is very good at just existing as fan service. And I think that really is the point of this game. Obviously there are plenty more things you can get up to in this game, but as I've only had it a week, That's what I've done so far, and that's the gist of what you're going to be getting up to if you buy it. You're going to make a character, you're going to put that character in a relevant story to the Dragon Ball Z universe, and you're going to have fun doing it. So do I think this game is worth your money, and should you be buying it right now? Well, it kind of stings a bit that it's a full price game, given that it came out an entire year ago on the other consoles, PS4 and Xbox One, and it feels even worse that the DLC is not included with this game, given that it's full price, which is a bit greedy. Pricing aside, if you like Dragon Ball Z, and if you really like using your Nintendo Switch, this is a very solid game for that system, and it's been a lot of fun sinking hours into it since it came out. If you like the Dragon Ball Z series, and you've been looking to play Xenoverse 2 or an excuse to buy Xenoverse 2 because you didn't buy it on the other consoles, or even if you did buy it on the other consoles, this one is fun, and you can play it on the screen, and you can play it handheld mode, which is the entire point of the Switch system, and this game specifically does a really good job of being good in both modes. Long story short, if your money's burning a hole in your pocket, buy this game, because it's great and it's a lot of fun. If the price puts you off a little bit, then wait a while and then buy it at retail when it's discounted somewhere. Maybe you could pick up a pre-owned copy or something like that. Definitely a lot of fun, and if you like Dragon Ball Z, definitely worth buying at some point. As always, if you like the video, then like the video. If you really like the video, then why not subscribe? I've been Pete. Thanks for watching.